So I've decided to go live here today so that I can share some information with all of you beautiful souls around the eclipse. We've experienced 2 eclipses in a month. The energies are intense right now, and I wanted to chat to you about karma. What is karma? I want to give you some practical tips and ways in which you can release unwanted karma. You can release all karmic patterns so that you can create space to manifest what it is you really want. So, practical tips and ways in which you can do that. That's what we're looking at today. Usually, around the new moon, everybody's focused on manifestation. Last year was the year of releasing karma, where we came face to face with the ways in which we have not been our best friend, the ways in which we still hold patterns, behaviors, belief systems, tendencies active that hold us apart from our catching up with our evolution, hold us apart from the life that we really want. This year is the year of the snake. It is the year of giving space to your medicine. It is the year of Kundalini rising. That means that we've got to come into balance and harmony, because the Kundalini is Ken. Hi Ken, how are you doing? I'm well, thank you. How are you doing at this time? I hope you're well too. So this year it's about our Kundalini rising, meaning we come into balance, we come into fullness, we bring all of who we are, the best of who we are to the world. And the best of who you are, your medicine and your magic is usually bottled in your talents and your gifts. How many of us are free enough to be able to live our lives in harmony and alignment with what makes us happy, with our passions, our talents, and our gifts? So many of us are still worried or challenged by people's lack of appreciation for what we do. So, how can we get to that place where we are allowing the world to experience our medicine, whether you're a comedian, an actor, an artist, a musician, a reader, an energy healer, a teacher? Everything that you're passionate about is a form of medicine, and your medium is just the tool that you enjoy bringing that forth with. So I want to chat to you guys about practical ways in which you can release the karma that is still holding you back, still holding you in that resistant place from being able to live your purpose, live in harmony and alignment with your life, and to attracting the people, situations, and the conditions that are in alignment with the life that you really want to live. So I welcome you all here. We're going to go through this conversation together. You're welcome to comment with any questions. And if you have any specific questions that you'd like for Spirit to answer, I am a medium, a channel, so you can just ask me and I will tell you what message comes through for you to just support you in that way. Okay. So what is karma? There's a lot of talk about karma in our world. What's really beautiful is that spirituality's come to the forefront. Too hard to pay attention. Okay. Spirituality's come to the forefront for us. And we're familiar with all the buzzwords, karma, manifestation. Many of us are familiar with quantum physics now. That just confirms what we've known as a spiritual community since the beginning of time. What is karma really? The word karma is associated with something negative predominantly, because we only pay attention to karma when our experience of it is negative. But karma is not inherently bad. Karma is a 3D experience of the law of cause and effect. With every cause, regardless of how it comes about, there is an effect. Our interpretation of that effect or our perception of that effect can be considered negative or positive. If we like it, we'll usually say it's good. If we don't like it, we'll say it's bad. But not everything that we don't like is bad. Very often, in fact, karma is always part of your evolution. It's always part of your journey. It's always offering you something. Nothing comes into our experience except by invitation. So, karma is tuned into our progress. It's the effect of our growth. Now, change is never easy. Sometimes we don't like the way in which we grow and we develop. Sometimes we think we'd prefer what other people have. But this is a misconception. Karma is always here to serve you. So, karma is tuned into your well-being, whether it challenges you or it feels comfortable. Usually when something feels uncomfortable, it's a little bit like a shoe, an old shoe that we have outgrown. And we're still trying to force our feet into it. So what have you outgrown that you are still holding onto, that you are still holding active? That is what the solar eclipse yesterday on the 29th of March was about. Now, the energy is the reason why I'm still bringing this information to you today, even though it's the next day, is because time here, 3D time, is an illusion. And the energy shows up for us in various ways depending on where we are. So the energies of this time are really, really active at this right now, but they don't just come on one day and leave. The energies come in for a period before the solar event, and then for a period after it is still here until it evolves and ushers in the next level of experience, energetic experience. All right, so many of you are experiencing some bizarre dreams right now. You're having people from the past pop up. You're seeing them having encounters with people from the past that you might have forgotten about or that you thought you'd never see again. There's a lot of the past coming up because it's an opportunity to allow us to have closure, in a sense. To close certain chapters, to forgive, to let go, to have clarity so that we can move forward, because that is what this time is about. You are always manifesting every day, all day. That is not something you've got to sit down and do. Manifestation happens all the time. You wouldn't be having a 3D experience if you weren't manifesting it. This experience right now, this conversation, is a manifestation. And whether it is a one that I enjoy or an unpleasant one depends on various variables. So you are always manifesting. The quality of your manifestations are about the vessel that is you and what that manifestation is carried forward upon. So you're the vessel, you're the vehicle, and you're bringing that manifestation forth. That manifestation that is your life, that is your experience, comes into fruition, comes into your experience as a result of whatever you have vibrationally active. So sometimes when we are wanting to welcome something new in, we've got to clear things out and create space for it. If you've got a cluttered house, a cluttered home that makes you uncomfortable, and you bring a beautiful plant into it, it's going to be harder to see and notice that, especially if you're a hoarder. Some of us are still hoarding. Some of us are still hoarding things that are that are really crowding up the space and making it difficult for us to see the things that we like. Okay, so that is what we're going to focus on. Now, we're having dreams. Some of us are having dreams in parallel realities. That's what's happening. We're having a lot of that experience right now, bizarre dreams. Some of us are dreaming about people from the past. Many of us are having our loved ones come to visit. It's all part of the energy that's available to us right now. Because our ancestors on the other side are also helping us to clear things out. They're coming to support us in this process. Okay, so all of that is normal, completely normal. We're in a transitional position right now. The world is changing. And I just want to share with you guys that it's time that you accept that things are going to be chaotic. They're going to be in a constant state of change. We're transitioning. And we might not like what we see, and we might not like, we feel challenged, and some of us feel like we're really being tested and tried. But remember, you chose to be here at this time. If you can make peace, if you can allow yourself to accept that things are as they are and there's value in the change, because if nothing change, if everything stays the same, nothing can change, right? And we came here for the changes. So I want to encourage you to move away from the conflict that you're having with the world and with life as it is, because so long as you're holding a conflict active in your body and you're having conflict mentally about having arguments in your head with how things are being done and what's not right in the world and who is to blame for it, you are not part of the solution. You are not calibrating to and contributing to the momentum of peace on our planet. You're contributing to the momentum and the energy of conflict. So there's no point in waving our fingers around and saying there's too much conflict and there's too much chaos and there's too much violence and there's too much self-serving and there's too much ignorance when we're holding that very energy active in our bodies. We're going through a transitional period, and spirituality, the soul of who we are as a collective, is coming into focus. Things are not going to get easier. It's time that we get over beating the drum of, why is this so hard? Because it's the beating the drum that is making it hard. It's going to be challenging. Change is challenging. But do you want to be the individual when the family is moving that is making it harder on everybody else with their complaints and their anger and their aggression and their tantrums? Or do you want to contribute to whatever the most sense of peace, the most joy? Do you want to contribute to the singing of songs and to focusing on the good things and to making it easier for yourself and everybody else? That is a choice that we are going to make. And we have to make it now. It's not the world, our reality is not going to yield to a sense of illusion that we want, where everything is perfect in the world. We've come here to come face to face with the dis-ease that is us, humanity. We're not separate from anybody else. We're part of the goodness and we're part of the so-called bad. We all contribute to it in one way or another. And it's only going to become harder for us when we're holding on to our own ego constructs, onto the programming, onto the patterns, onto the habits and the tendencies that keep us tuned into the matrix. It's time for us to set ourselves free from the old karma so that we can let in the personal power, the ease, the satisfaction, the courage, the confidence, the voice. Our medicine. It's time for your medicine to come to the forefront. It's time for you to be in that place, to find yourself in that place where you are not suppressing your gifts, where working a job that you hate because you don't think anyone's going to pay you for your services, for your talent. It's time for you to call forth the tribe, those who are ready to invest in value, because there are those of us. But you can't do that when you're hiding in the shadows. And I understand why that is happening, why we still carry the karmic wound. When you think of what happened, the persecution of women who were called witches, something like 9 million women were murdered, burnt at the stake, crucified, stoned, sacrificed, called witches because they knew too much, because they understood the medicine, because they taught empowerment, because they maintained connections to nature, they maintained organic, authentic connections to the spirit world, and they were still in tune and in touch with well-being, not just treating symptoms and medicating and numbing pain, real connection. And this was a threat. We still carry those scars. We're too afraid to be seen. We're too afraid to stir things up. We don't expect to be valued and appreciated. If this resonates with you, then this talk is very possibly for you. So, how do we clear karma? How do we clear the unwanted karma? How do we clear the old karma, the old patterns that we've already worked through, that we've evolved beyond, but that we're still struggling to close the gap with? I want to talk about some practical ways that we can do this, because there's all these buzzwords and there's all these talks about what we need to do in order to be happy and to be liberated, to be free. But practically, do we really know how to practically do this when culturally we've been so disassociated from our medicine? Our ancestors knew and understood how to integrate medicine and well-being, how to weave together connections. We have lived in a very artificial world where we have been programmed and bought into very often more disconnection than anything else. Artificial ways of feeling beautiful and not really giving any attention or energy to reconnecting the threads within ourselves so that we can feel connected and comfortable in our own skin, regardless of the 3D connection, the 3D conditions. So we've grown up and become accustomed to a very artificial world. We were born into this fake reality, which is always fake, but into this artificial sense of stability and community and happiness. And we came here to elevate that, to contribute to evolution. So we're very passionate about the state and the condition of the world. But we need to understand that we cannot be part of the peace and the love that we are wanting to cultivate and usher in if we are choosing to be at war with the world as it is. I know it seems like a catch-22, but the path is that, and it's always going to be that. Whilst the storm is raging, we cannot find peace in the eye of the storm if we do not become peace. We can't keep fighting, resisting, and being in conflict with ourselves, with our connections to this life experience. So many of us try to disassociate, even with spirituality, from this world because we've decided that this world is bad and it sucks and there's no hope for it. So what we're going to see a lot of this year is cults. We're going to see a lot of spiritual psychosis. We're going to see a lot of delusion. People are going to replace their old programming, their old indoctrinations with spirituality. And just because it has a new label doesn't mean that you're free from the program. It doesn't mean that you're free from the matrix. Your ego can easily replace one vice with another. Very easy. That's why people who are in the program for addiction, that is something that they're made very aware of, that your tendency to replace your addiction with another is a blind spot. So what we want to look out for this year is our tendency to seek saviors. No one is coming to save you. There is no savior. You are not lost. You are born worthy. You are so free you can choose bondage, and we're making that choice every single day. We came here to be a part of this 3D reality, to bring to light, to close that gap between the soul and the human experience, which was always so separate in our experience here as humans on this planet. We came to be and to awaken to and to shine the light on the fact that we are souls having a human experience. And the answer is not to disassociate from this experience, just like the answer is not to disassociate from that relationship that is challenging you. The answer is to be so present that you sit with the discomfort and the very many ways in which you have been a part of creating that dynamic, and then being willing to make the change. So we're going to see an uprise of cults this year, because as humans, we're looking for that thing that's going to set us free, that's going to make us feel better. We're looking for that right thing in the world. And we just replace one thing with the other when we've worn it out and we've realized, okay, I can only go so far with this. What's that next thing that's going to give me power and strength? We're constantly outsourcing energy when we have more than enough within ourselves. So how can you be more empowered in your spiritual process and journey? How can you be more empowered as a soul having a human experience? How can you manifest the outcomes that you want? And why are you struggling to manifest your desires? It's not because you don't deserve it. And it's certainly not because you're unworthy. It's not because there's some man in the sky waiting to see if you do every action to perfection according to what he wants. There is no man in the sky. That does not exist. It's not because you've got to prove your worth by fixing all the problems that you face or you experience in the world. In fact, it's all of those beliefs that pinch off your manifestations. Nothing can keep you apart or hold you apart from that which is your desire, because your desire desires you too. We've been taught that our desires can be bad. Maybe you're not getting what you want because it's not going to be good for you. That is often the belief. But that is not true. What you want is always on its way to you. But perhaps what you think you want is not really what you desire. And the belief that that is how things should be in order for you to be happy could be creating resistance and pinching off your manifestation from coming in because you're not yet ready for it. Or you don't yet believe that you can have, be or do whatever you want. You think you are here to serve everybody else's happiness and everybody else's desires. And so you've got to make what they want, what everybody else around you wants, a priority. Otherwise, you're not a good person. Those are old beliefs of self-sacrifice and slavery to everybody else. And as a result, we are often prostituting our energy in various ways, in the workplace, in relationships, and with friends, because we're still tuned into the old programming that is the path to happiness. We're all awakening to the fact that something's not working with this old narrative, with what I thought was good. This path has led us to a lot of dis-ease and unhappiness. It is time for you to clear out the old karma, otherwise the baggage that you are carrying forward with you is going to continue to pinch off your manifestations and to weigh you down. Yes, there is a lot of chaos and there is a storm raging. But you don't have to be in a constant state of fear and agony whilst that is happening. It is possible for you to have peace and satisfaction as we go through this process. But you have to begin to see that there is a separation between you as a soul and the conditions of this 3D world. We live in this world that we all think we share, and that is a misconception, because you have your own world within this universe. We are here by agreement that we meet with one another, but I have my own world within this universe and you have your own world. You can create peace within your own world whilst the storms are raging in everybody else's world. Now that might seem like a selfish thing, but how can I be at peace, Elif, if people are in conflict and people are in abusive relationships and people are suffering? It's called honoring people's free will. If someone comes into our experience that we can support without being attached to an outcome, then yes, do good. But we are not responsible for the course that everybody else's lives take. We have to honor one another's free will. We have to stop trying to control outcomes. So you see, there are a number of ways in which we are still tuning into the matrix, and therefore we don't feel free. We feel like we're constantly in a place of hopelessness and helplessness to the conditions of the world and the conditions of everybody else's lives. We have to start to remember that the answer is to mind our own business. What do I have the power to change? Often we use what's happening in the world and other people's issues as a distraction from looking in the mirror and dealing with our own growth and evolution. It's time for us to release old karma and these patterns, to set ourselves free from bondage so that we can become a part of the solution here, which is what we came to do. And as long as you're living in discord and in opposition to that, which is your soul's calling and mission, it's going to feel like it's tearing you apart because it's a lot of resistance. You are not honoring who you are because of fear. And that is not an easy choice, because that's not an easy path. Things are very difficult there, and you do have a choice. So I want to go through the 7 energy centers and some of the things that could be active there, so that it gives you some light and insight in where you might still be holding unwanted karma and where you want to set an intention to release. The reason why I'm going through the 7 energy centers is because it is the year of the snake. It is about coming into balance. It's about the Kundalini rising. That's the awakening that we're experiencing as a collective. Your medicine is what needs to come to the forefront. And your medicine can only come to light from a place of harmony and balance when you are ready to share it with the world. Okay, so let's start with the root chakra. The first energy center in the body is associated with the skeletal system, the muscular system, and it and circulation, right? It's associated with your blood. What does your blood carry? Your DNA. It's your ancestry. So the root chakra is about the roots, your roots. And it is associated with, it is about your connections, your ancient connections to your family, your tribe, and your community. the community and the family that you chose to incarnate with. Indications that you are still carrying unwanted karma. There is resentment, bitterness, a feeling of being unsupported, disrespected by your family and your community. There is medicine in your bloodline that you carry. There are a lot of lessons, there is a lot of growth, there is a lot of mistakes, and all of that is a gift to you so that you can allow for the evolution of who you perceive yourself to be. I spent many years trying to avoid and outrun my family. And my path back to me was through the roots, because they carry the essence of who you are. And if you don't like who they are, then there are things about yourself that you cannot love and respect, but you are very often in denial about that. You cannot come into harmony with yourself and fully love and accept and embrace who you are and see the beauty of who you are as you are, whilst you're still in conflict with your tribe. You don't have to agree with everything. That is the process. You don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to like everything, but are you at peace with that? If you're not at peace with that, then there is still karma that needs to be cleared out there. If you are carrying unwanted karma in this energy center, it puts it in this energy center of yours in a place of imbalance. And that will usually show up with dis-ease or symptoms, uncomfortable symptoms of dis-ease in the bones, in the muscle, in your immune system, circulation, and the hip area. It will also affect your money. And your money is associated with personal currency. So what are some of the practical ways in which you can clear and release karma in this energy center, so that you can manifest the money, the stability, and the respect that you want? Personal currency. The value that you place on your time, on your energy, on what you invest. And you've got to be willing to address the beliefs. Why do you do what you do? Are you doing it because you're afraid that someone's going to feel unloved, or they're going to feel abandoned, or they're going to think you're a bad person, or it's going to make you a bad person if you don't do it? If you're taking action from a place of fear, you're making a decision and you're taking action out of alignment with source, with your inner being. That is usually an indication that there is resistance. You're creating resistance in your choice. Another way in which you can practically release unwanted karma in this area is going on a journey through revisiting the relationships with your tribe, the things you don't like about them, the things you do value about them. Get to know them on a deeper level. What is the history? What are their stories? And then find a place of connection there where you can see what they came to teach you and appreciate that. Recognize what you might need to change, what they're mirroring to you that you might need to change, and finding a way to respect and honor their choices, even if it's not choices that you will make. But most importantly, going on a journey where you are revisiting these relationships in a very deep and sacred way, and calling your ancestors forth to guide you with this, to begin to understand why you have inherited the talents, the patterns, and the karma that you did, and finding a way to see how that is your strength. It's a deep rite of passage that we must all take in order to move out of the root chakra. Otherwise, we just stay stuck there. And if you've got issues with your legs or your feet, you are stuck there. You are weighed down by that. You are still in the place where you are blaming your family for all of your troubles, for your wounds, for your victimhood. And your relationship with money will show this, will mirror this. If you want to heal your relationship with money, you must address personal currency. Are you the first or the last person on your list when you're making decisions? When you're choosing what you're going to give energy to, are you at the center of that decision? Is what matters to you at the center of that decision? Or is it still everybody else? Now, we've heard a lot of things about money. Selfish people are money, have money, the greedy have money. We have all these negative associations with people who have financial abundance. And as long as you hold those judgments active and those beliefs active, you cannot manifest financial ease. And very often the reason why those people have financial ease is because they are at the center of their choices. And you can call that selfish. But other people's lives are none of our business. We can't change other people's worlds because they make their own choices. Your choices create your reality. I don't have the power to make your choices. And me suffering on your behalf doesn't make your life easier. It just makes more of us suffer. It's counterproductive. So there are beliefs that you need to be willing to address. What are some of the beliefs you have around money? When you decide where you're going to put your money, what is it that you are honoring? What is at the center of your choice? Is it someone's need? Is it because you want to rescue someone? Is it because you want to be a good person? Is it because you feel they can't help themselves, so you must help them? You have to be willing to recognize that we are all powerful. We are equal here. The one is not above the other. We all have the same access to well-being. We all have the same access to free will. We are all powerful beings. We are all ancient souls. And we get to decide how we experience this reality. We have free will. We are not powerless here. As long as we see one another as powerless, we create an imbalance on this planet, which is evident. So those are some of the things you want to address. And then, of course, to help to elevate your frequency in this chakra, you can use light, red light. You can wear more red, but you can most definitely benefit from plant medicine. So your red foods, your red smoothies, and you can do a detox, or you can do a fast where you're only eating red fruits and vegetables to help to support releasing of this old unwanted karma. The belly chakra, the sacral chakra, is the next energy center up. This energy center fuels your romantic relationships, your one-on-one relationships. It is influenced by your parents, your primary caregivers. A lot of times when we carry unwanted karma here, or we have energy that's created an imbalance in this area of our life, it is associated with conflict on one level, some level or another, with a primary caregiver, your mother or your father. And I often see a challenge, a difficulty with being able to honor the people that you are in a relationship with, or feel honored by the people that you are in a relationship with. So manifesting and attracting a lover that can honor you, that you are able to honor, that you don't need them to be different or a particular way in order for you to feel safe and loved, this is usually an indication. If you find yourself attracting the same kind of relationships over and over, which you do not want, you feel angry, you feel abandoned and betrayed by your lovers, this is an or you just want to avoid. You're more focused when you think about a romantic partner on what you want to avoid than what you're wanting to attract. Because those are two different things. That is an indication that there is karma that you are still holding on to there, that it would serve you to let go of. What are practical ways that you can release karma in this area? Excuse me. Many of you are not going to like this answer, but if your belly chakra is out of balance, you're going to struggle to attract the partner. You are going to struggle to become a vibrational match, to become the person to yourself that you want in the world. Because there is a lack of understanding what it means to honor. There is a lack of the frequency of honor, and there is a inability, there is a lack of capacity. And the first thing that you need to do, the best thing that you can do, if you know your belly chakra is out of balance or you are carrying unwanted karma there, you will pick it up in your, obviously with women, you will have issues around your reproductive system. There will be challenges with menstruation, challenges in the area of conception, and so forth. The descending colon will also be something, so like irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, that sort of thing, bloating, IBS, spastic colon. Whether you're in a relationship or not, let me rephrase. Whether you're in a committed relationship or in a relationship situation, the best thing you can do when you're wanting to release karma in the belly, in the sacral chakra, is to be with yourself, to be single. Because it's going to be, I often encourage that you don't just blow your lives up, but that you find that you make the relationship with you more important. Make the relationship with you, put the relationship with you at the center when you're looking for love, when you're wanting to go have a nice experience, when you feel like you want more adventure, do that with you. Start to court yourself. The reason why I say it's probably better to be single is because most people are still they're not gonna be able to do that. When we have sacral chakra issues, we are so afraid that a relationship's not gonna work out. We think that person needs to be the center. That's the right way to be in a relationship. We mustn't do anything without them. They need to be at the center of our choices. They need to be at the center of everything we do. That's what love is. And as long as they're at the center of love for you and at the center of your happiness and harmony, you cannot help but put pressure on them to be responsible for your happiness and for you feeling loved. Now, you can be in a relationship and feel lonely. And often our brain will go to, this person makes me feel lonely. When you feel lonely, there's a disconnection. It means you're struggling to connect to the value of your now experience because you're too focused on conditions. And your connection is about you and you. It's not about what your partner does. And this is why I say the best thing you can do when you want to clear your belly chakra, because you've not been attracting the relationships you want. You in toxic, unhealthy, abusive relationships all the time. You cheated on all the time. You're being taken advantage of all the time. You find yourself being betrayed. You've got to be willing to be single and to court yourself for a minimum of 6 months. But I'm not saying be single whilst you obsessing about the relationship that didn't work out and while you're feeling sad about being alone. You don't want to be dating someone and they're constantly sad about their ex that has left them. I'm talking about really being present with yourself and allowing you, the person in the mirror, to be enough. Only when you get to a place in your life where your company is better than anybody else's are you going to manifest your soulmate. That soulmate. Now, you're going to meet your soulmate in various ways throughout your life, but I'm talking about that person that we can imagine, but we don't quite know what it's going to be like. And I'm telling you, I'm speaking from experience, the relationship that is better than you could ever have imagined, in which you feel like you are perfect, you are good enough, you are happy, you are not codependent, there's no issues, it's healthy. It sounds too good to be true, it exists, but you can only get there when you are able to honor who you are, the life that you've chosen, and everything that life offers you, regardless of the conditions. When you're independent and free from what everybody else does. My life's not going to fall apart if you don't make that choice. I'm not going to be miserable for the next week if you don't do that particular thing for me. I'm enough for me. It's a different space to be in. So to set yourself free from this karma, that would be the first thing that I would focus on. And then to go through a process of where you sit with and you evaluate and you're honest with yourself around your relationships with your parents and how you feel about them and what you think they're responsible for in your with regards to your emotional, physical, and mental health and happiness and well-being. And then you need to honor how they've shown. And then you need to set them free by asking yourself, this how does this parent support my goals or who I want to be or my growth by doing this thing that they do that I don't like? What is it that they're honoring for me on my journey here? What is it that I'm not seeing whilst I'm focused on the fact that I've missed out on having the love of a mother that I think I should have had? What has she given me instead? What has she helped me to awaken to instead? What are my beliefs? I believe that I'm broken and I won't be loved because my parents didn't love me. What are the beliefs that I'm holding active in this area that is still keeping me in this place, that holds me apart from my evolution here, from being able to manifest and attract that person that can honor me? You've got to find a way to honor the people in your life, the conditions as they are. You have to do that. The belly chakra is about honor. That is your key, that is your path to manifesting and attracting the person that has the capacity to honor you. And everybody deserves that. But your life experience is the gift that you give yourself. Sometimes we can only give ourselves so much because we don't know. We're still remembering here. Another way in which you can support the elevation of frequency for the belly chakra is foods. Vegetables and fruits that are orange. You can do smoothies, you can do shakes, you can do a detox where you're only having those vegetables and fruits for a couple of days and water to hydrate. You can do it in any way which way that you like. You can use orange light in your room when you sleep, and you can wear more orange. Orange crystals. Crystals are a powerful way to help you to elevate and heal and empower and activate these energy centers in your body. The world around you, your relationships, everything that you see as your life is a physical projection of a relationship with yourself. These energy centers in your body feel and project out into your world, your 3D world, based on their conditions. So if the condition is blocked and unhealthy and out of balance, how do you expect to manifest a life in which your money's balanced, or your relationships balanced, or you're manifesting lovers that bring in balance? It just can't happen that way. I want to move up to the solar plexus. Your solar plexus is the energy center that governs your self-worth, your confidence. Your solar plexus is about your ability to project out into the world your beautiful creations. It's about your purpose. It's about your creativity. It's about how you are able to let the world in. Many of us are so busy avoiding what we don't want to experience, and then wondering why we don't manifest and attract more experiences, because we're pushing it away, we're repelling so much of it. So if you're struggling with your purpose, with your goals, with that business that you've always wanted to create, with the book you've always wanted to write, if you're struggling to sell tickets to your comedy show, or to your theater production, or your art exhibition, all of these things, if you're struggling to get clients for your baked goods, or for whatever it is that it's about your creativity. What is it that you're creating that you don't feel anybody is willing to buy into? It's a self-worth thing. What are the ways that you can clear this up? First, you want to make a list of where you put your money and your time. What is it that you support? Will you have a whole lot of different subscriptions to Netflix and other sites like that, but when a comedy show, someone that you know or a friend has a show, you don't buy a ticket? Like, where are you putting? Will you go and spend thousands on branded clothing and fashion, but when you've got a friend that makes and creates clothing, you question why it's so much? You won't invest there. You feel like because they're a friend, they should give it to you at a discount, or give it to you as a gift. Will you go and buy from these big stores, enriching the corporates, but when you've got people in your community that make jam or make things, you won't support them? That's the first thing you want to address, is like, what do I invest in? What is it that I'm investing in? What is it that I value? Because you cannot expect to be valued if you devalue others. Most of the time, we're throwing our money at, and our time and our attention. When someone's got a poetry production, or a theatrical, or doing something creative, we're sort of like, maybe, maybe not. But when somebody is going through a drama, or then we can be on the phone with them for hours and invest our time and our energy in their mess. So that's the first thing you want to evaluate. Then another way that you can clear up the karma, unwanted karma in this area, so that you can manifest and let in a life in which you are not selling your time, your energy to a company that doesn't appreciate you, in a job that you hate, where you can start to live an abundant life doing what you came here to do. You want to start to offer your talent. Create a space in which you can give away what you do in a way that doesn't bankrupt you or leave you depleted, as a gift in certain areas. The way that I am doing it today, where I've put time aside on a Saturday to connect with you guys. not knowing who will show up, not knowing who will see this, and still thinking it's worth it for that one person. Because I place high value on this awareness, on your happiness and your growth and your awakening. So it's worth it for me. That is how you allow the energy to flow. You have to start to give of your talent. You've got to find a way to gift where the talent is not directly measured by money, because otherwise we deplete, we reduce our worth based on a currency. I'm not saying that we must not be paid for our time. Absolutely we must. You are not serving anybody if you're giving away your work, your time, your energy, and there's no energy exchange. You're just creating for that person and yourself a quantum entanglement. It's unwanted karma. So absolutely, we must invest in one another's gifts. But to break the pattern of fear and of negativity around reducing the value of what you give to a number or an amount, because what your gift is worth way more than what the ticket costs are. My gift, my work, the work that I do with spirit is invaluable. There is no price I can put to it. The amount that I put to a session is a value, a currency that you and I can understand, that gives you an opportunity to exchange in the energy so that the energy continues to flow. So that is what you want to do in order to release karma. You want to start there. And that's how your confidence is going to build, and that's how your energy and the momentum is going to build around your gift. And that's how you are going to attract your people. Because there are those who have asked for you, for your talent, for your gifts, for your music, for your art, for your baking, for your cooking, for your therapy, for your teaching. So that's all got to do with your worth and your confidence, and it's going to help you to build confidence too. And it's going to teach you what you need to know to be able to do what you do on a more professional basis. Your value and your worth around your gift and that which you are passionate about, is something you have to decide. It's not something that other people set. Doing some inner child work will also help in this area, because when you were younger, you knew what you were passionate about. You knew what meant to you, what was important to you. And you can often see, oh yeah, I was always doing this, or I was always that person, or there are these traces of why we came here in our childhood and how we used to play, and the archetypes and the characters that we played. Let's move on to the heart chakra. Oh, with the solar plexus, indications that there is imbalance is not only that you procrastinate and you start things that you don't finish, and you're too afraid to, and when you try and get clients, or you try and do an offering like a show, people are not willing to pay for your tickets, or it's always too cheap, and it's not really it's not sustainable for you because you undercharge. Is stomach issues and liver issues. Your body will communicate this with you. And how you can support that is also with the food, with the yellow vegetables and fruits. And you can do a detox, or you can do a fast where you're only having those for a couple of days. Trust your guidance system with this. Moving on to the heart chakra. Ways in which you can recognize that there is unwanted karma that you're needing to release, and that the universe is wanting to guide you towards letting it go, so that you can manifest the love and the joy. Because joy comes from here. If the heart chakra is out of balance, you're going to struggle to feel joy no matter how good the experience is a sense of feeling disconnected, being around people and having a nice experience but still feeling sad and empty. Grief that's become complicated. When constantly carrying symptoms of sickness in the chest, so the lungs and the heart, obviously those are indications. Arms and hands, issues with the arms and the hands and the shoulders, also an indication that there's imbalance there. And money is also associated with the heart chakra. If you are doing a job or you are doing something that you've decided, I must do, and we say this, I have to work, I don't have a choice, but you do have a choice to appreciate your job. But I don't like it because I don't want to be there. Well, you're just creating shortage with your money. And it's not about the amount of money. You'll notice that you can have 5 people who have the same income. 2 of those people are able to do a lot more than maybe the other 3. So it's not about the amount. It's about the quality of the money, of that currency. So wherever you are right now, remember you've called that forth. You've made choices that have brought you to where you are. In the workplace, in relationships, you might not always like what people do, but find a way to love and honor them. Hey, thank you so much, Blu-ray. That's such a lovely message. I appreciate you too. And if you have complicated grief because we've not been taught how to grieve, in the community I come from, you get over it. Life goes on. There's no time to stop and to grieve. We don't go for therapy. Like, we never got taken for therapy. Our next meal for me growing up was the thing I needed to worry about. So there's so much unresolved trauma and grief because we're waiting to get over a loss. You don't get over a loss. You've got to move through it. It's a process of moving through it. And doing that alone is scary. No one should grieve alone. You should have support. You should have a counselor. You should have a therapist. You should have a grief counselor or a spiritual guide, someone to help you to heal. You should have that support system. So if you want to release karma in the heart chakra, get the help. I have been shown by source through my healing work with people around grief and my own grief that the way we've done it, like just moving beyond it, is what keeps us stuck in the cycle. You've got to find a way to integrate the new essence of that relationship. So often when we think, if someone's not here in my life right now, then I've lost them, they're gone. Nothing ends. Death is not real. We don't die and cease to exist. We continue to exist, just in a different form. Okay? When we're in a place of holding on to who that person was when they were alive, we're not letting in the version of them that is now, that is also worthy and good enough and also loves you and is a part of your growth and evolution. So it's a delicate process that requires and is deserving of support. You've got to revisit your grief in a way that alchemizes it and helps you to transcend. Foods that are helpful are also, it's all the green foods. You can also do a detox with that, or you can do a fast where you're only having green vegetables and fruits for a couple of days, and that will definitely help to activate and to elevate the frequency and for you to purge and release a lot of what you're holding on to in your body. The throat chakra. I've said to you before, this year we're going to see a lot of cults popping up everywhere. It's because we think that the problem is outside of us. It's what's been done to us. It's what's happening to us. Life is happening for you. And the truth is that if there are things that are playing out in your life that you don't like, it's there by invitation. So you've got to change something. there are certain truths that we hold active around our what we perceive to be our reality and our world that keeps us in a disempowered place and keeps us disconnected from source. For a long time, because of religious teachings and programming, I thought that God and fear went hand in hand. Now it's such a ridiculous notion, because how can God, which is love, also, how can the essence of the relationship with God, which is love, be fear? Why must I fear a God that is love? Fear and love are two different spectrums. They're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. All these misconceptions that I must embrace the suffering and the disease because that makes me a good person, and because it's happening to me because God loves me. And we believe this stuff because we were beaten when we were little and told that it's because we love you. I was made to still be around the person who essayed me for many years as a little girl because we love you and you must forgive. We didn't know this was happening, but what's best for your soul is you must forgive. Forgiveness is a very powerful process. It sets you free, but it's not for the person, it's for you. And forgiving someone doesn't mean you still have to sit at the table with them. We think as humans that I must either be angry and hate someone or I must love them and put up with everything that they do. No, two things can be true. I can love someone and say, you're not welcome at my home because your value system and my value system and what I'm wanting to teach my children does not correspond. You do not take care of your family, you're abusive to your wife, and you don't support your children. How can I teach my son and my daughter to honor their themselves and their responsibilities, their children, and have you sitting at the table when you can't do that? That's contradictory. How can I have you here clearly dishonoring who they are, their feelings? You're not supportive of it, and I tell them you matter. It doesn't make sense. So these are the things that we've got to investigate when it comes to our truth. If you're struggling to speak up for yourself, or you do speak up for yourself, but then you feel bad about what you said, it's throat chakra stuff. If you are advocating for things, if you say that I care about this, but your actions are contradicting what you care about, it's throat chakra stuff. If you say that I believe that God is love and but I also believe in absolute evil, throat chakra stuff. Those are contradictory things. When you put food in your mouth, is it sweet or is it bitter? It can't be both. There can be elements of it, but you need to understand that everything holds a vibration. What is the vibration of this relationship that I have with what I call God, or with my life, or with my family? I love them, but I have to control them because I'm afraid that if I don't, they're going to make bad decisions. You cannot love anyone or anything that you do not fully see or comprehend. So if you see them as incapable of making their own decisions, you don't respect them. Respect people enough to let them mess their lives up and make their mistakes. It's harder to do if you're attached to the outcomes for them because you're taking care of them. So if they make a mistake, I'm going to be the one that carries the brunt. Well, then you are codependent. You're too integrated with the consequences of their choices. You're in control of too much. So these are the things we need to be willing to investigate and take a look at, because love is free. Love is not bondage. And the same thing, the food that we eat here will be the blueberries and the blue fruits, and anything that has that blue tinge to it, fruits and vegetables, will help to support and elevate the frequency of the throat chakra. But you do want to go through a process of shadow work here. This is going to be the chakra that trips you up. Because you're going to think you're telling yourself the truth. But if you're in a habit of keeping a lot of untruths active and calling it your truth, it's gonna be your blind spot. You want to have someone, a coach here, that's gonna hold you accountable and say, you're lying to yourself. That's not really what you believe, because you're saying this is what you believe, but this is what you do. So how do you line up with what you believe? You see. So if you're having colds in the throat, if you're losing your voice, if you've got thyroid issues, all of those things, that's your indication. If people are misunderstanding what you're saying, if there's miscommunication, throat chakra stuff. Mouth, issues with the teeth and the mouths, also throat chakra stuff. If your mouth gets you into trouble, throat chakra stuff. I trigger a lot of people. That doesn't get me into trouble because I don't care. I'm not that invested. I want to serve. And to me, honesty is of a high value. I don't always give my opinion because it doesn't matter what I think. But if you come to me as a spiritual guide and you ask me what is going on here, I will tell you the truth about what I see in the spiritual realm. It can trigger you. Our trigger is often a gift, because our trigger is if I have a trigger, if I have a button that you can push, it means I've got unresolved karma. That button is the thing that is holding me in this place of being unhappy. That is what's keeping me in bondage. So a trigger is a gift. Moving up to the third eye. This will be your sinus issues. And at this time right now, a lot of people are experiencing the sinuses, the pressure in the sinuses. And for people who are seers like I am, this is always going to be something that speaks to me, because sometimes I just want to be distracted too. I don't want to always have to be looking into the ins and outs and the patterns and the intricacies of people's world. So sometimes I don't listen, and then it gets really congested, and then I need to look. Okay, so this is also speaking to you. If you're having the pressure around the eyes all the time, then it means that you're a seer, you're gifted. There are things you're not looking at. Okay, and maybe that's also got to do with your gift. Get a spiritual teacher, get a spiritual guide to help you to open your eyes, to activate your gift, your intuition, and your third eye, to learn to listen to the languages of the soul. Crown chakra, that is your downloads from source. This is your connection. This is a part of you that is source, that is soul. That's your connection to God. And many of us have very, very warped ideas of what God is. Your depression, your mental health issues, constant headaches. You're conflicted about what God really is and what God really wants from you. You're still in that place where you see God as this tyrant that does things to you and expects you to endure unhealthy, difficult situations because you need to save the world or something. You want to reinvestigate. What are your beliefs around what source is? What is God to you? And is it just an adopted belief? Is it just an adopted programming from other people that you've just decided is true and right because you want to be agreeable? Do you believe, what is it that you believe about your spirituality and your relationship with the connection of spirit that is maybe keeping you in a place of avoiding your awakening? Because depression is being thrust into your shadow work so that you can awaken, but not wanting to do it. Just avoiding a lot of your relationship with source. What is your connection there? And what are some of the beliefs that hold you apart from that? The crown chakra is your white foods, your garlics, your gingers, right? Your turnips. It's easy once you understand the color frequencies of the different energy centers. I hope that these tips are helpful to those of you who do find your way to this video and who have been here today. I wish you all the best. It is time for you to release these karmic weights so that you can create space and let in your desires and what you really, really deserve. If someone comes back, if someone's returning, right now it's about releasing. I don't think that there's additional work that needs to be done. It's an opportunity for you to release the stagnant karma. So you have to, and this will depend on what the frequency of the relationship is. What is it that was still unresolved here? What is it that you were still holding on to? What is it that this person showed you that you might need to release, and that they're giving you an opportunity to release? This is the time about releasing karma. And the ins and outs of that will depend obviously for you on the situation and the frequency of the relationship. What is the essence? What's come up for you here, and what is coming up for you with this person returning? Okay? That's what you want to look at. Then you can easily say, well, this is not something I want to hold on to. This is not something I want to continue doing. This is not something I want more of. And then it becomes easier. Okay. All right, beautiful souls, you can do this. And if you need support, remember, we're not supposed to be doing this on our own. Trusting others can be a challenge, but it's not about trusting anybody else. It's about trusting that you are ready to let in the support and the love that you need. There are those of us who have come here with the vision, with the sight, to know how to help you to navigate and to release these things. You do not have to do this on your own. Often when we try to, we get tripped up with our blind spots, and we end up trying to do it and staying in a cycle for longer than we need to. The more you hold on to this karma, the more difficult it's going to become for you here. Okay. Lots of love to you guys, and I'll chat to you all soon. I'm planning to do another energy healing activation, and to give away some of those live here, possibly on Thursday again. So tell your friends, let your loved ones know, those who have conditions, illnesses, and disease in various areas of their lives, especially in the body. We will do a channeled energy healing and activation, where we will look at and travel through the various areas where they have roots, where that karma is still rooted, where that disease is still rooted, and we will bring in some healing energy. Okay. And that is absolutely free for those of you who join the live and who ask, whoever spirit guides me towards. Okay. Lots of love. Take good care of yourself and let go. You're ready for that new world. You're ready for that new life and that new experience. And the world deserves your medicine, your energy, your gifts. We're ready for it. We're here for a more authentic world. Love and light. Bye now.